Hello and welcome to Competitive Crunch. My name is Spade and today we'll be looking into the usage statistics of December 2013 and the last stats of last year and the last pre-Pokemon Bank stats, because Smogon, as you may know, they have merged their OU and the Pokemon Bank OU metagames because there was really no point in dividing players because, you know, Pokemon Bank is, you know, we're technically living in the Pokemon Bank era right now because the Pokemon Bank was still out for like a day or two in Japan and a few Eastern countries, so a lot of people were able to get their access and their hands on the Pokemon Bank Pokemon, and so a lot of people here on Europe and also in the United States and everywhere around the world were able to get their Pokemon Bank Pokemon because, you know, it's pretty simple to clone Pokemon and then just trade them over. So even though it's not technically out, which is still redonkulous, it's been like a month and we still don't have Pokemon Bank, a lot of people still have access to, so Smogon thought they would combine their metagames not to divide players like that, because, you know, we do have still access to them in real life, with the real games. So, yeah, last stats with the pre-Pokemon Bank, so that's pretty cool. Next month is gonna be a completely different change, so let's take a look, shall we, what the pre-Pokemon Bank OU metagame looks like, and try to guess which Pokemon is number one this month, or last month in December. And it is still Talonflame. It's going to be interesting to see how the Pokemon Bank metagame is going to affect it. Of course, there's the Pokemon Bank stats, which are already slightly different, so now that everybody will be playing the Pokemon Bank OU next month, or this month rather, so that will be really interesting, but let's not worry about that. Let's take a look at the stats we got going on here. And in fact, I made myself a little notepad note here with the pluses and minuses changes here, so it'll be kind of more interesting to look at the stats and actually see what happened compared to last month. I probably should have like done some cool editing magic, but with this I'm able to save time instead of spending like a day or two editing everything in, so hope you guys understand that. So yeah, Talonflame is number one. Rotom Wash rises up a couple of spots here, which is not really surprising. Rotom Wash, a really good Pokemon on any team pretty much, has that good natural synergy with everything, and not to mention since Talonflame is number one and Rotom Wash is one of its best counters, you could even say. Not surprising to see it climb up a couple of spots because Talonflame is just so popular. Who would have thought that Gale Wings would be such a great ability even with those somewhat mediocre stats? But coupled with the limited move pool, that is still good enough for it. Talonflame still at number one. And then Ferrothorn rises up a couple of spots. Aegislash drops down a bit, which is like whatever. T-Tar and Gliscor rise up a bit. And I think Gliscor is used quite a bit to deal with a lot of Mega Lucarios that don't have Ice Punch in this metagame. Because, you know, it's pre-Pokemon Bank, so Ice Punch is a move to their move, so there's that. And overall a sturdy physical wall, as always. Excadrill goes down a bit, Garchomp rises up a couple of spots, which is like whatever. And then Gengar drops down 5 spots, which is not surprising because the Mega Gengar, of course, got banned. And that will naturally affect the usage of the Gengar because, you know, a lot of people were abusing the Shadow Tag, trapping and killing nature of Mega Gengar. But still, it shows that Gengar is a really good Pokemon on its own as it didn't drop too many spots. We'll have to see what's the deal next month, but still, I'd say in my opinion, Gengar is still a solid OU Pokemon, so even despite the awesome Mega Gengar evolution being gone from Smogon's metagame, I'm sure it will still be on the, at least on the top 20, I would imagine. And then we're out of the top 10, we got Scizor rising up a couple of spots, which is like whatever, and then Charizard, plus 5. Lately I've been seeing a lot more of a Mega Charizard Y, so that might maybe the little reason why Charizard has risen up a bit. First, people were really excited just about the Mega Charizard X being the Dragon and Dragon Fire type, but in the end, Mega Charizard Y is like that's where the shite is at, because that thing hits like a truck right off the bat, coupled with the drought it has. Stab, Fire Blast destroys everything, and it has still pretty solid coverage with like Solar Beam and Dragon Pulse and Air Slash, so it is a really efficient wall breaker, and yeah, just hits like a truck right off the bat. You don't need to waste the time, waste your turn setting up. You just Mega Evolve and get that Sun up and destroy everything that's not a Heat threat. Even though I guess even Mega Charizard Y could run EQ to deal with that in the future metagame. But anyways, then we got something interesting. Lucario rises up 8 and Kangaskhan drops down 7. So basically, since Mega-Kangaskhan got banned, I believe it was on December 19th. That is why Mega-Kangaskhan is still so high in the usage stats. Next month it will most likely be entirely gone from the OU metagame, because the Mega-Kangaskhan, the broken piece of shite, was banned. So it looks like Lucario, or Mega Lucario, is filling in the power of vacuum, the vacuum of power that Mega-Kangaskhan left in the metagame. Because, you know, now that Mega-Kangaskhan is gone, people are looking, hey, what should I use as my Mega Pokemon now? What is really the next best thing? And a lot of people think that it's Lucario and Mega Lucario, which is certainly a true powerhouse. I still definitely say I would love to see a Mega Lucario being suspect tested, because when you think about it, what Pokemon can counter Mega Lucario under every possible circumstance without knowing the set that it's running? What is a Pokemon that under every circumstance can safely switch into Mega Lucario? Some say that Gyarados, which is pretty good with Intimidate for the physical sets and resisting fighting and not taking too much damage from the other coverage moves. You know, it does resist the dual stab, so if there's like Bullet Punch and stuff like that. But, you know, even with Gyarados, if it switches in to a stab, close combat, and first takes Stealth Rock damage, it has already lost like 50% of its health. So even with Gyarados, it's kind of unreliable, I would say. And besides that, I don't really know what other ways do you really have to deal with Mega Lucario. It's the first off, the problem with Mega Lucario is that you have to think whether it's physical or special. So do you send out a physical or a special wall? If you make the wrong move and send out a physical wall against the special attacker Nasty Plot set, you get destroyed. And then even with the physical sets, if you're like, okay, I'll just go into my Gliscor, then it has Ice Punch. And then you're like, okay, I'll just go into my Aegislash, oh wait, it has Crunch. Of course you can try to play mind games with the King Shield, but, you know, what if the opponent just goes for Swords Dance and destroys you anyways? So Aegislash not a counter, just a check. So countering Mega Lucario is extremely difficult, and Mega Lucario just fixes up the one problem that the original one had, and that was with the speed. And now it has, I believe, 112 base speed, allowing it to outspeed things like Gengar and Terrakion, Infernape, things like that it couldn't outspeed in the past, but now it can. So Mega Lucario just a horrible problem in the metagame, but really cool thing that to see how Lucario is indeed filling up the spot that Mega-Kangaskhan left in the metagame, and we shall see how Smogon is going to be handling Mega Lucario. I definitely see this thing getting suspect tested in the future. But anyways, let's move on about Lucario, shall we? Got Mamoswine rising up 4 spots. Mamoswine is just overall a great Pokemon. And actually, Mamoswine, when you think about it, really difficult to really counter. If you look at the things above it, it kind of destroys everything except maybe for Rotom Wash. Rotom Wash, well, yeah, just thinking about, because some people are running like Freeze Dry nowadays with Mamoswine. Even though it's a special attack, you know, it can still kind of deal with Rotom Wash with switching it if you have a little bit of a special attack investment in it. So that is kind of a cool thing for Mamoswine, because it can now kind of muzzle its way through Rotom Wash even. But if you look at all the things besides Rotom Wash, Mammothwine and its stab, ice, ground covered, it kind of just destroys everything that you got here. Nothing can really safely switch into Mammothwine, so that's the thing. That's why it's a really good Pokemon in OU. There's like only like Skarmory that can really deal with it well, and on most cases Rotom Wash too. But other than those two, it kind of just destroys everything, and that's why it's used so much. And because it forces switches, because it's so powerful, you can easily always support your team with Stealth Rocks as well. So there's that. But anyways, what other interesting things do we have here? Klefki is apparently losing some momentum, so that's a thing, I guess. People have stopped using like the Swagger T-Wave set because it's kind of situational and stuff like that. Klefki is still a great support Pokemon, awesome defensive typing with the Fairy and Steel, but I don't know why it's dropping so much outside of that. But here's the hero of this month, Mandibuzz, climbing up plus 69 spots. Mandibuzz just overall a great Pokemon in this generation. It didn't really gain anything new per se, but it just became relevant in this metagame due to the multiple mechanic changes in this new generation 6. Because first off, Defog got a buff, and then Overcoat got a buff, and then Dark typing is better offensively. It no longer gets walled by Steel types. So if you think about setting up with your Excadrill, like going for the Sword Dance, you will just end up getting destroyed by like Foul Play. So there's that. So Mandibuzz is not as easily set up fodder as it was in the past, so that's the thing. Plus, Knockoff got boosted too, so Mandibuzz, besides supporting your team with Defog, it can just support your team by getting rid of items and still, you know, deal sufficient damage to your opponent's team and not be complete setup fodder, because Dark typing is slightly better offensively, and the support from the Knockoff is definitely valuable on every team, as you may have seen. Knockoff is like the Scald of this generation. You can just spam it, and without any precautions. It's just a move that you can every time just go for. You know, you don't need to predict anything. I'll just go for Knockoff. Whatever happens, I will greatly benefit from it. Just like with Scald. You can just go for it and greatly benefit it, and most likely you will just get the burn. Now, instead of burn, you'll just always get rid of items, so it's such a great move. That's why Mandibuzz is just used so much. Not simply because of Knockoff, but all those things that I just mentioned. So that's why Mandibuzz is the hero of this generation. Truly is, truly is. Kind of surprised that it only rose up now, but people have really called on how good Mandibuzz truly is in this generation. So yeah. Anyway, what other interesting things there are? Skarmory actually dropping down a bit. Perhaps people should use it more to deal with Mammothwines, but perhaps because Defog is so popular, Skarmory with its usual spiking support is not that popular. Perhaps, but it's still a sturdy physical wall, so there is that. Then Sableye rising off 14 spots. I'm not entirely certain if this is simply because of Mega-Kangaskhan, because it was still OU for 19 days, and Sableye was honestly the only true counter to Mega-Kangaskhan, because it can switch into pretty much any attack, even though it doesn't really enjoy switching into a double Earthquake or double Crunch with the parental bond and everything. But still, it could switch into it, take about maybe 50% max, and then go for the Will-O-Wisp, and then after that, like, just recover. So, when it comes to countering Mega-Kangaskhan, Sableye is the closest thing that really comes to mind. But outside of that, I don't really know why people would be using Sableye. So perhaps next month, Sableye will be dropping down again because Mega-Kangaskhan is gone. But honestly, you know, this generation wasn't too kind on Sableye, because one of its main niche in the metagame was that, or the main niche in its metagame was that it's a Pokemon with no weaknesses. Plus, it has Prankster, so it kind of became the best one. when compared to like Spiritomb. So, but it was the Pokemon with no weaknesses, but now it has weakness in the form of Fairy. Although Dark typing again is slightly better in this gen, and Sableye can abuse the foul play and knockoff as well, much like Mandibuzz can. So it can do those things, and Will-O-Wisp's accuracy got boosted up, so that's pretty nice for Sableye. But honestly, that's not too big of a deal. So I would imagine Sableye dropping down next month a bit because Mega-Kangaskhan is gone. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you can tell me a reason to use Sableye in this minigame. Are there any other good reasons? Besides, like, Sableye, when you think about prankster users, kind of faces competition from, like, Klefki and the Mega-Banette. Although they all kind of still play different roles, but, you know, they're still, you know, prankster users, supporters, so maybe not the greatest thing. And I'm just saying that, you know, when people think about prankster users, they're experimenting with Klefki and Mega-Banette, and that's why Sableye could be forgotten. So that's the thing. In that note, they're kind of, you know, facing competition. But perhaps the reason why Klefki is dropping down is that people were using Sableye so much to deal with Mega-Kangaskhan, and then they forgot other prankster users, or just didn't want to use another prankster supporter on their team, so they decided to use Sableye. Who knows? Maybe you can tell me better. Perhaps. Anyways, other major things. Scolipede ranking up 4 spots here. You know, Scolipede pretty awesome in this generation with the speed boost and also plus 10 attack. So that's a cool thing, and awesome baton passer without a doubt. And then after that we got Sylveon dropping down minus 11 spots, and Florges also. These two are really competing in the OU tier for the best, especially defensive Fairy type. It looks like in the Pokemon Bank OU, it looks like Sylveon has won that race, but right here they would still be OU. And Blastoise actually in the pre-Pokemon Bank would be the last OU Pokemon. It is just above the 3.6, 3.4. 3.4 is the limit or the cutoff for the OU, and I believe for the other future tiers as well. So Blastoise would be the last OU in the pre-Pokemon Bank, and actually after that we have pretty much gone through the major changes. I try not to ramble about every Pokemon so much anymore and just go through the major changes that were in here, so hopefully you kind of enjoyed this somewhat different format from last time. Let me know, but let's actually go through this actual list here. So where was the Blastoise? Right here. Chandelure would be the 49 spot on the OU metagame, but 3.25 is not enough for the OU. Not that it really matters that much, but are there any other interesting Pokemon here? To be honest, not really, and that's why I just kind of made the perhaps there are some interesting rises and pluses and minuses here, but I just made the plus minus list for myself for the Pokemon that would actually be OU in judging by the usage from this month. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna call it an episode and just not ramble for too long. And let me know what you think. Let me know about Sableye. Do you think there's a reason why Sableye should be OU this month? Do you think it still has a niche in the metagame why it should be used? Or perhaps, who knows, if it's just going to be dropping down to the future underused tier, which is still in the works. And also let me know, what Pokemon do you think, as a question of the day, what Pokemon do you think should be banned from the OU tier? Personally, if you think about the Pokemon Bank metagame, there's Genesect running wild there. A lot of people saying that it should be gone. And also, perhaps the Deoxys Brothers, especially the speed one. People are saying that thing should be gone. And personally, I think Mega Lucario should be gone. In my opinion, all those 3 Pokemon could be banned because they're kind of just centralizing the metagame. Especially Mega Lucario and Genesect. And the thing with Deoxys is that, you know, it can just set up hazards so easily. Not to mention it has moves to destroy, you know, things that could try to rapid spin on it or use defog on it. It can shut down those things with like taunt, and it does have the coverage moves to deal with those quote-unquote counters that could usually, or let's just say it has easy ways to deal with the common checks that it has. Kind of the same thing as with Generation 5. That's why, in my opinion, it should be gone. And with Mega Lucario, it's just it really doesn't have solid counters in the OU tier. Nothing can really, even from the lower tier Pokemon. So that right there says it all. It's practically uncounterable. There's only like Gyarados that can somewhat deal with it, and even that is kind of unreliable in a metagame where Stealth Rocks is still a thing, very much. And then Genesect is just overall, it's like merging Rotom Wash with Scissor. Like it's the same thing as with Generation 5. It's truly, it's a Pokemon that kind of it just centralizes the metagame, because you can put it on every team and practically it has no counters besides Heatran, and Heatran doesn't have reliable recovery, and in my opinion, like Heatran as a only true counter, it's not really enough. And what Genesect usually does, it just keeps on U-turning around until everything is worn down to a point where you can take it out with its coverage moves, and you can, nothing can really safely switch into it. And when you think about download, it's basically a free choice band or free choice specs without locking yourself into a move. So that's pretty redonkulous when you think about the coverage moves that Genesect has access to. And also, you know, it does have the option to go for Shift Gear 2, which is something that it didn't have in the Gen 5 OU metagame. So it now also has a new tool to play with, even though the physical Genesects aren't really that broken. But anyways, I could ramble about this all night long, so I'll just stop right now. But we all know how dangerous Genesect is, so let me know your thoughts, and let me know about what you think about this month's usage stats. And also, as a question of the day, which Pokemon do you think should be gone from the OU metagame, if anything at all? And I will check you guys next time with more competitive crunch, more showdown battles, and stuff like that. So, until next time, this is Spade, signing and rambling out. Peace!